I want to bring in friend of the show, friend of Turning Point, friend of Charlie, Alex Stein, Primetime Stein 99 is all of the names. Well, not all of the names. I'm sure there's several other names that people would know you by. But Alex, appreciate you taking the time.
You know, it's funny that you say the name thing because it was actually kind of scary. I mean, it's only scary because of the situation that's going on. But obviously the tragedy with Charlie was so bad. But this was just 2 days ago. I was walking, and I walk around the airport in Dallas. It's Bachman Lake. And a guy starts yelling, and he's kind of yelling from far away, and he doesn't have shoes on, and he's like a white guy and just looks weird. He doesn't look like he's necessarily homeless, but I don't see his shoes around, no shoes, his pants on and a shirt. And he's like, Ronnie. And I'm like, what the hell? Why is this guy calling me Ronnie? I'm like getting scared because of the situation is so intense, right? I'm like, why is this guy yelling at me, Ronnie? And by the time he gets closer, he's like, Ronnie the Rat. And I was like, oh, yeah, because I wore a furry. I didn't even, there was a viral video. I was Ronnie the Rat. But I was still, I was so spooked because I couldn't even remember that it was Ronnie the Rat. So, yeah. And it was just more intense because of what's going on. Some guy's yelling at me, calling me a name I didn't know. I was just shook. But, yeah, this just happened. But, yeah, it's funny you say the name thing. That just happened.
Yeah, I mean, you got all the names. You got, and again, I probably can't even say all of them on here, but yeah, you're gonna have to brush up on all of those, especially when you're out in public. Alex, I mean, jokingly would do Charlie Kurt, not Charlie Kirk,
yes.
And go to college campuses and kind of do a similar thing. Be funny about it because obviously you're a funny guy. You even had a video with Charlie recently at the Tampa event that we probably should have pulled, but you can go find it on any of your social accounts. Yeah. But what is your approach to this now? I mean, first things first, if there's anything you'd like to say, Charlie specific, we've been, letting people talk about their relationship with him, but also too, you're doing a very similar thing. And how do you think any of this affects you and kind of how you go forward?
Well, selfishly, it affects me tremendously because, I could just say I was Charlie Kirk and the kids would be confused and think I was Charlie Kirk for a second. So then we'd get a crowd. And then if I just kind of said some crazy stuff, we're able to have a good event. So, and Charlie actually liked that because he knew that I would never say anything because there were some parameters. They put some guardrails. There was times where, I had some representatives from Turning Point, including Charlie, tell me, hey, maybe we should talk about this a little less than this. Not that they ever limited my free speech, but like when it came to trans issues, a lot of times people would get sexual. I'm just saying, my point is Charlie let me go out there and be wide open because he knew what I was doing was funny and he had like such a good sense of humor and he appreciated that, what I was doing that the students liked and that we were actually, doing something on campus that people could, remember and it causes what Charlie wanted. Like it causes a conversation. So he actually liked it. And so I'm so sad that I can never do that again, but I'm so happy. Another selfish thing, that video where I pretended to say I was Charlie Kirk at the most recent, SAS in Tampa, that video is like blowing up. I mean, it literally probably on my account alone, I think it has like 10 million views. And then all these other people have shared it, which I appreciate. And I'm sure Charlie does too. And so that, it's just very sad to think that those videos are doing so well in such a tragic situation. But yeah, I wish I could have done more Charlie Kirk because he actually likes it. He actually responded to it. So he had such a good sense of humor. People,
well, and that's what
I'm saying. People might have taken Charlie too seriously and not realized he actually had a great sense of humor.
Well, yeah, and it's interesting. I've been going through the archive and just kind of posting a bunch of different videos of like these roundtables that we would do. We're just laughing the whole time, and I've seen in my comment section people like I never. Like the media never showed him smiling, which I think is a really humanizing thing and real, like it's humanizing to laugh. And, you got to experience that, doing the stuff that you were doing. I got to experience that. And I feel like a lot more people need to be aware that the guy had a sense of humor and he laughed a lot at a bunch of different things. And I think, again, that's a real humanizing component. But I think, like speaking of laughter, I mean, we were talking a little bit before we came on here, kind of in a weird position because I super sarcastic and snarky. You're super sarcastic and snarky, like to make fun jokes and make fun of things. And I think that's Charlie understood that's how you get through to people. But it's kind of difficult to navigate in such a horrible situation that we're in. How do you see, the kind of comedic comeback or what the trajectory looks like post again this kind of this obviously tragic event?
Well, I hate that I even have to say the answer because this is just how I truly feel. This event was so incredibly tragic that we as comedians, like, we should be able to make jokes about anything, but just in the way that this happened, it's to the level of 9/11 or JFK. I mean, it's
Hmm.
so monumental to history, and I don't even think people understand that. And that's kind of the part that I don't get so mad at when people, try to get mad at Charlie Kirk, is they're just too ignorant to understand the gravity of the situation. So of course they're
Yeah.
going to say something uneducated and, not based in fact. So my point is, it's a very difficult thing to navigate because it was so tragic and it was so bad and it affected people so greatly that, just right now, there's going to be a time when we can joke around, but it's like I'm really having trouble with it because there's just so much surrounding this, and this is bigger than any other shooting in the world, from Sandy Hook to whatever. This is going to be and you know what? If this is why I'm getting crazy, and I don't want to get into any of the conspiracy stuff, but now these hate speech laws that Pam Bondi wants to put in, that doesn't seem like something Charlie would want from something that was such a tragic situation. So I'm just saying, it's a very scary situation, and I'm really worried about the future.
Yeah, I think overall it's kind of difficult to figure out how to quarterback this, and I think I don't know, you're feeling that too. But I think the bottom line here, and I think you probably agree on this, is just laughter needs to be a component of that. I've always said that Charlie
Hmm.
recognized that. I think you could tell that he understood. Yeah, people get changed through logic and reason and facts and debate and all that sort of stuff, but they also change their mind, being entertained. And I think comedy is one of the best ways to do that. And yeah, going forward at a certain point, Charlie would have wanted us to keep on being this snarky, sarcastic, comedy loving people that we are. So, any last thoughts, Alex?
Well, no. I mean, this weekend is going to be, the memorial for Charlie Kirk. That will be very emotional, and that'll be sad. And a lot of people will be there, so I'm honored to go there. I can't believe that, it's going to be in a football stadium. That's pretty amazing to
Yeah.
have a memorial and something like that. So it's just a sad, sad day. The world's worse off, but nothing we can do but keep going on. It's just the gravity of the situation. People might not understand. This is, will change the course of history very dramatically.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And yeah, the football stadium is I can't think of anybody who had their funeral. Michael Jackson had his funeral in an arena. I'm not trying to,
Yeah.
make comparisons here. I'm just saying it's an unbelievable outpouring of respect from really the entire country.
Well, I mean, even I was listening to Glenn Beck host Charlie's show, and he said that he hadn't seen anything like this since Elvis or Princess Diana, and that's kind of what this is like. This is
Yeah.
like Elvis and Princess Diana, and you might be too young to remember Princess Diana. Like, that was a huge deal, and this is like that. This is like that. It's just like a person that a lot of people loved, and even the people that weren't his biggest fans, still a lot of people are just so empathetic to Erica and his family and the tragedy that we all witnessed.
Totally, totally. Yeah. So, hey, we'll see you on Sunday, brother. We'll appreciate you taking the time, and see you Sunday.
See you Sunday.